Welcome everyone to the 4th episode of Taiz Talks. I think it's 4. I lost track, even though there's only 3 episodes, right?
I can check for you.
No, it's fine. You're good.
We're live. Also.
You're good. We're live. We're live streaming this.
I know we're live.
No, we're not live streaming.
Okay.
But hello everyone. Welcome to the 4th episode of Taiz Talks. My name is Taimur, and this is a variety podcast where we talk about random stuff. Today I'm joined with
Austin.
My name is Tim.
And I'm Still Taimur. And so basically the basic format of this podcast is I just talk about random stuff and we just, roll along with it. Timothy and Austin are my 2 very good high school friends who we've stayed in touch for a very long time. Also the 2 people who were on this channel first. So with my first video, that amnesia one.
And the most popular.
Yeah, how does it feel to be famous?
To all you Taiz fans out there,
Wow.
nice to meet you. And he's a good guy. Keep watching this stuff.
Oh, thanks. Wow.
Yeah. I watch Taiz religiously. And he has no connection with the cult. Taiz.
No.
Taiz?
I think it's like Taiz.
Taiz.
So
He has no relation.
It's like T-A-I-Z and then an apostrophe on the E. Not apostrophe.
Yeah.
Accent on the E.
Okay.
It's weird. It's like a religion formed in like Spain or something. It's like a very small religion, and like I have no idea anything about it, but we share like very similar names.
As we were saying, no relation.
No relation,
No
not
relation,
at all.
but I support Taiz's channel and his podcasts. And yeah.
Well, thank you. You guys, you don't have to suck up to me,
We're not second up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I see how it is. All right. So, we just got back from watching the latest Star Wars movie, Episode 9, and that was a very controversial film, I hear.
We have a lot to unpack.
We do.
I mean, me personally, oh my god.
Yeah. See, apparently I'm in the minority. I liked it. It was. I feel like I'm also disillusioned because Episode 8 was bad, and like I was like, Episode 9 it's gonna be bad. So I'm just like along for the ride.
Your expectations were down here.
My expectations were very low, and it was not bad. It was definitely not good, but it was not bad. Like I enjoyed watching it. I wouldn't watch it again. Definitely not in theaters. No.
Yeah.
But if I were to watch it again, probably be like if I had a Disney Plus subscription and just watch it there.
I think that the movie was not a good movie, no matter how you look at it. Whether you're a Star Wars fan or just someone who likes movies in general. I have the Wikipedia up on my phone right now because I don't even remember everything that happened in the movie.
Oh, nice.
It was that unforgettable to me. So
It was really unforgettable. It's hard to remember every single scene in that movie. Maybe it was just too much, or maybe it was just not impactful enough.
Why don't we start at the start of the movie?
Okay, yeah. And for people listening, this is going to be spoiler talk. This is going to be the Rise of Skywalker. All spoilers.
If you want to avoid spoilers, just don't watch this.
Or, yeah.
Unless you have a timestamp you want to give them.
I was thinking, I was like, maybe like 20 minutes, but I have no idea how long we're going to talk about this movie.
yeah.
So, I mean, to start, the movie started off so fast and it never stopped. And the whole time you're just being fed exposition after exposition just to lead the story on.
Yeah.
What did it... Do you have the plot up.
I have the plot up.
How did they start the movie?
Well, like all Star Wars movies, it starts in the middle of the action,
Right.
It's,
Kylo Ren obtains the Sith Wayfinder device and leads him to the uncharted planet Exegol. And he finds Palpatine, who reveals that he created Snoke as a puppet to control the First Order and lure Kylo to the dark side. And then we see his secret armada of Star Destroyers that destroy planets. And then it cuts to Finn and Poe getting intel from the spy.
honestly, that was a lot. Like,
Yeah.
Kylo Ren, like, they just shoved Palpatine in your face. They were like, he's back, he's evil, and he's got a bunch of armies.
We started going to the movies with Tim going, I don't want any spoilers, but I already know Palpatine is in the movie. And we're like, wait, that wasn't the trailer. And the very first thing you see in the credits is Emperor Palpatine is back. I'm like, well, there you go, dude.
That's true.
I remember the first trailer, though. It wasn't, like, Palpatine, like, voiceover. Like, he had, like, a sinister laugh or something at the end. So it was, like, teased, like, oh, he might be in the movie. And people were, like, speculating.
Right.
But they just, like, they disregard all mystery about Palpatine. It's like, he's back.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello,
Oh.
it's me.
I think that already defeats a bit of the suspense that was in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That you're kind of at the end of 8 wondering what's going to happen next. And in exposition, you already get introduced to new antagonist without any sort of build up. It's just in the rolling credits, or whatever they're called,
Yeah.
the intro. So I don't think that was a good start in the first place.
It's great for Disney because they can make so many spin-offs in that gap that they left.
Oh
That's
my
true.
God.
That's
Which
true.
is basically one of the biggest problems with this movie. The amount of spin-offs you can make with like every single chapter of that movie because of how much just crap was crammed into it. It was like, well, it's supposed to be about Rey, but it ended up turning into be about like God knows what. Like,
But everything else.
like do we need to know Poe's backstory? Do we need to know this like whole deserter thing with Finn, or
I mean,
I
I liked that they focus on the deserters because obviously in this giant army there's gonna be deserters, but it's like it felt very, very small in the scope of every single thing else, and it could be expanded upon a lot, and they're gonna do it, and they're gonna capitalize on all the money because they just do. They always do.
yeah.
Right. I think that's the worst thing about having Disney produce these movies is that you always wonder if there's some sort of ulterior motive to why something's coming up, whether it's a new toy or some sort of spin-off, that you can't really enjoy the movie on its own as like an art form and as a way to convey ideas. You have to wonder, like, is Disney doing this so they can get their next big buck or next big hit? And I think that's part of why this movie doesn't, or being produced by Disney, kind of always has a thought in the back of my mind when I'm watching.
Yeah. Like the robot dog that popped up. That wasn't really a dog, but I thought it was a dog. And then also now that I realize that Rey's lightsaber, you know, they
The
changed
yellow one.
Yeah, the yellow one. They changed the entire design of it, and it's like
It's true.
that's gonna be sold too. You know,
Yep.
it's
Yeah,
like
true.
now you're gonna have a.
Rey
That'd be cool though. Like if they have a toy that if you turn it, it shoots out. That'd be interesting engineering.
So what are the goods? The good about this movie?
The visuals. Oh,
I think that is literally the only thing about this movie. Actually, no. We discussing this earlier. Found the second thing I think I like really appreciated was Kylo Ren's story, because as like annoying as he was in the first two movies, at least in this movie he got his closure. He like accepted the fact I'm still Ben Skywalker. So that was cool. But yeah, visuals pristine.
yeah. I feel like these movies weren't even about Rey. Like if you just said like this was Kylo Ren's story, it makes more sense. You know, because Kylo Ren was way more developed, even though like Rey is supposed to be like the poster child, and it's all about her and who are her parents, and oh my god, it's Palpatine. Oh, well, then it's all crazy. But it's like if you focus on like Kylo Ren, it's a more complete story. You know, you had the beginning, the middle, and the end, and that's good. Also, the visuals, the fight scene that they had on the water planet, that was cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all those scenes, I could be like, this is iconic. You know, because like if you look at the old Star Wars movies, there's a lot of planets and stuff like they become so iconic today.
That's true.
Some of those scenes were like, this is gonna be iconic.
Yeah.
Dude, the water simulations.
Oh,
The
what?
what? The water the waves.
Oh
The
yeah.
water.
For sure.
Like when he was Rey was healing Kylo Ren, and then like water splatting on him. That is pristine visual effects. Look real. Like that's like the magic of CGI and visual effects that I genuinely appreciate, and I appreciate they had the money to do all that. There was no story to back it up though.
I agree. I think something they did well was that they set up all the characters to have interesting, or not all of the characters, but a good amount of the characters to have interesting emotional aspects to them, but they didn't ever follow through with it. I think that's something that left something to be desired.
yeah.
We talked about earlier about C-3PO losing his memory. I thought that was a great setup, but they never really went through with it being an actual emotional loss. And then he ended up not losing his memory when R2-D2 revived it anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like they had an opportunity and they like had a moment to like really show that people are sacrificing things so that things come back together, but they kind of undid themselves. Which is disappointing.
Just like Chewbacca getting killed by Rey, and then surprise, he wasn't actually killed by Rey.
Right.
And then that one assassin girl, I don't know if she was an assassin. That
The mask.
the mask.
She's a red sand, whatever.
what was like
Trader.
Yeah, what were they trade?
Spice Trader.
Spice Trader. There you go. Red
Spice Trader.
Sand.
That's how forgettable this part
Isn't Red Sand from like the first 2 movies or something?
I have no
It's
idea.
like their like version of cocaine or something, right?
Yeah.
It is?
I think spice is drugs.
I thought that was Dead Sticks.
Yeah, no, spice I understood was drugs,
Yeah.
not actual spices.
Oh.
Dead sticks are cigarettes.
Oh, that was a cigarette.
Yeah.
Why?
What am I saying?
Also, why would Poe be ashamed of being a spice runner?
Yeah, it's not pepper.
Yeah.
You could tell I was confused. in that
It's like,
scene.
oh no, I can't let them know I dealt pepper. But no, like those 2 people and the tiny guy, they were the only 2 people on that planet that blew up, and they were alive. And then who also was a fake out? Oh, Ben Solo. He died when Rey stabbed him, but they're like, oh, we'll bring him back,
Yeah.
and then we'll just kill him later.
Right.
Oh my
So I'm
god.
like, okay.
Which is like a good segue into 2 really big issues. I mean, Deus Ex Machinas were always an issue with Star Wars. Everyone complained about it since like episode 1 through 6. Like that's always been the thing with Star Wars. Even like the Clone War animations, like the one Disney said is no longer canon, and then like General Grievous in this weird cartoon form. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the animated show. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
yeah. The other part's consequence. Not everything they just said is like removing the consequence of their action, and the impact could have been way stronger.
Yeah.
Like C-3PO literally C-3 literally died. Should have, like
In a way, yeah, he died because
He-
that's all droids have.
yeah,
Yeah.
the entire history of episodes 1 through 8 erased. The impact of that should have been felt, and everyone, like honestly, we should have shed a tear. But instead, Tim was laughing next to me because of how like they just threw like what? How did you describe it? Like you said, he was a joke, or
They did make him as a joke. People were laughing at the fact that he didn't know anything and that he was finding out things for the first time. But honestly, I kept on whispering to Tamora that this is really sad.
Yeah,
it was really
Honestly, really sad. But I think a lot of people in the theater were laughing because they made it with comedic timing.
Yeah.
Instead. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was like, "Hi, I'm C-3PO. Nice to meet you." While they're talking about like all different important stuff.
Yeah.
And the little guy is like, "Oh, my name is like Baba Booey or something like that." And it's like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And it's like, this is totally unnecessary. And then like later on in the film, it's like, "Oh, it's Baba Booey," and C-3PO is like, "Oh, that's my oldest friend." And it's like
so sad.
That's like sad because it's
It
like
is sad.
Anakin's the one who designed him. He's his oldest
Yeah.
friend, and then
Yeah.
now it's like comedic because it's like, oh, he's not really, haha, he's just joking. It's a little alien guy, and it's like, no, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a weird setting.
for the amount of fan service that happens in this movie, that would have been a great way of like an emotional fan service, because like you said, Anakin built him. Like I feel like someone, even Rey, who was training under Leia, should have been like, damn, just lost all of that
Yeah.
from that, and like he erased all of his memory of all of this. Like, come on! If you're a Star Wars fanboy and all of a sudden your Star Wars universe was erased, you would be kind of sad.
Yeah.
But no, everyone was laughing instead, which is honestly kind of more heartbreaking.
Yeah, which is the same thing. It's just there's no consequences for the actions, you know?
Yeah.
Like, especially like killing everyone, like all those stormtroopers that we talked about that die, who are children who are abducted from different families and brainwashed and grown up, like just like Finn, and then Finn shoots him like without any remorse.
good,
He's
yeah.
like, pa 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 pa. It's like, okay, you know, they're all dead, and then like Kylo Ren with the Knights of Ren, like kill them all, ha ha ha. I love the scene though when he pulls a lightsaber out from behind him and he's like shrugs. He's like, yeah, it's Jedi stuff, you know. I was like,
Yeah, it's convenient.
we're not gonna explain it, and he just kills like his old friends and stuff like that. It's like, okay, there's no remorse about those things that are like so impactful.
Right. And something else I'm thinking about is that the deaths that did happen didn't feel like they were a consequence of any action. Leia's death felt random, and
Yeah.
obviously it's necessary to an extent because of what happened to Carrie Fisher, but I think they could have done more with the connection of Ben and Leia being connected by some sort of something like that.
Yeah.
They harped more on about how sad it was that Leia died, and nothing about the actions that led up to it.
Yeah.
And like why that happened in the first place.
I wish I knew she was like sick or something, because she just kind of like.
There must have been some sort of force connection. I don't know.
I think it was
Between her and
because
Ben.
she was connected to Ben while Rey stabbed him, right? Isn't that why she like died?
That's what I think. But
Is that how the Force works?
Don't you talk to me about how the Force works, okay?
yeah, none of us know.
The Force could be whatever the heck the Force
The
wants.
Force works in mysterious ways.
How many midichlorians do you have, Austin?
Are
Are you qualified to say this?
But yeah, I think it's because Rey stabbed Ben, and that's why he died or she dies.
Wait, we're calling him Ben now?
Yeah, dude, Kylo Ren's dead. Didn't you watch the movie?
It's Kylo Ben.
Technically Ben is dead too.
Yeah, that one was also weird because it's like he uses life force, I guess, to give Rey life because she was dead. She was straight up dead. And then he gave her his life, and then they kissed, and then he just keels over. It's like, okay.
Well, let's be real. He wanted to save enough energy to get that in.
Honestly.
Let's be real.
Okay. But didn't that couldn't you cringe a little when that kiss happened because it felt kind of forced? Where was the love interest between them?
They were FaceTiming throughout all of
Yeah.
episode 8. He
cool.
was sending her into his home, right? She was videoing him from his quarters with Darth Vader's helmet.
Dude, they were videoing when he was shirtless, okay?
I remember that scene.
Let's talk about that connotation, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, could have been a brother and sister thing.
Yeah, No.
No.
This is not Game of Thrones, Austin. Get out of here.
Look, it happened in episode 5, is all I'm saying. And I'm just,
Do you think they would do the same things over and over? That's not what Star Wars does.
Oh,
as I say sarcastically.
Yes, it doesn't mean that sarcastically. But that kiss still felt forced. And there was a second...
You can't question the Force.
There was a second kiss that happened that I feel like JJ just kind of just threw in there for modernity's sake.
The 2 girls?
The 2 girls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't know you liked her.
Yeah.
Why are you 2 kissing?
To be fair, if they really wanted to take a stand, they would show someone kissing an alien. You know? Because there are no romances that develop with
true.
different species.
You know who does it better?
Who?
Overwatch. They
Who
do.
kisses
They
in
what?
They do robot and human relationship better, but Star Wars doesn't do any of that.
They did that in Her.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Oh yeah, they did. Mm.
Yeah. That was a really uncomfortable scene. Anyway.
I did not watch Her, so I don't know what's
It was a good movie, though. You should watch it.
Oh, and the Shape of Water.
See, Shape of Water was good.
Shape
I
of
watched
Water
it.
was good. It was good. The whole movie was about screwing this alien.
Honestly, though.
Oh.
Honestly. And when they made that dick joke about him, that was a little weird.
It was a little weird.
I gotta look this up.
I can describe to you the scene. Basically...
How did she do it? She was like this? Okay, we're on a podcast. I can't
Yeah.
show you, but...
Maybe one day if it goes video, you know?
Oh, wait. This could be potential spoilers for anyone who wants to watch Shape of Water.
I know, we're gonna spoil everything.
But, no, there's a scene where the main actress is talking to one of the coworkers that she has.
She's deaf. She's deaf and mute.
Yes, she's deaf and mute.
Yes.
And then the coworker's asking her
in sign language.
does she have or does the alien fish have that thing? And she motions her hands show length of a schlong.
Yeah.
And then literally and she goes mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
And she nods her head creepily. And
man.
Okay.
And then the friend asks, how? Where is it? Because you see the whole alien's body. There's clearly nothing there.
Yeah.
And so she cups her hands together and demonstrates how it comes out.
Oh!
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it with my hands, but if any of you
I'm not interested either.
if you're all interested, watch Shape of Water. It's in the 60% of the way into the movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't creep it out for you. But anyways.
That just seemed just weird. They're great movies, and then there's just movies that have just weird scenes in them.
Yeah.
The Last Jedi, when he milked the thing. It was totally unnecessary.
That's true.
Totally unnecessary.
Space Leia.
But you know what I realized? Disney wanted to just cash in on blue and green milk. That's what they sell at the Star Wars land at Disneyland. Have you
Actually?
Yeah, they sell that.
my
They
God,
sell
you're
blue
right.
or green milk.
Like I said earlier.
Yeah.
There's always a subversive reason for everything that shows up.
No other reason, just to cash in on that.
So we kind of transitioned from talking about some of the good or all of the good of episode 9, and now we're right back in the bad. It just honestly shows you there's a lot of as much as you like the movie, there's a tugging feeling of it could have been better. And I don't know who said this, but it's a good skeleton for a lot of awesome stuff. The ending where they show the deserters talking, that deserter talking to Lando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like I feel like it's gonna be an awesome series, show, movie, whatever it is. That's gonna be pretty cool. Look at the Mandalorian. It's fantastic. And then you got the whole history of Poe. That's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe even show the dark past of Finn getting abducted and becoming a stormtrooper. Now that'd be interesting.
That'd be interesting too.
Or maybe even show Rey's parents, like selling her off and then trying to survive through all of that.
I mean, you saw them die pretty quick though.
Oh yeah, but or anything before that.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of stuff. Some of it could be like easily stretched to series. Some might just be like, a good 4-episode series, It doesn't need to be like 3 seasons.
Like Chernobyl.
Oh my god.
Chernobyl was really good.
Yeah.
Oh dude, you all watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you haven't watched it?
No, I don't have HBO.
You should watch it.
You should watch it.
I know. I just know it's
so good.
It's very good.
It's so good.
And I also want to watch Barry on HBO.
Oh my god, I love Barry. Barry's so good.
I heard such good things about that.
What's that about?
It's a retired assassin who would kill people on the black market turned comedic actor. He wants to become a comedian.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, the first episode's premise is he has a contract to kill an actor, and in the process, he gets like looped into their acting antics, and he's like, "This is my calling. I want to do this." And he's like not a good actor, so it's like very comedic and stuff like that, and like stuff in his past haunts him and stuff. But if you're not really interested in watching the show, if you watch season 2, episode like 4 or 5, one of the best episodes of television I've ever watched. Like it's like straight up just bonkers.
Okay.
And I loved it. Like the entirety of the show, it's good. But in that one episode, I was like, this is like so ridiculous and so entertaining that I really liked it.
See, these shows flow naturally because like take the Mandalorian, right? Like that show revolves around that character, but this sequel trilogy, none of that flows. We were laughing at the blatant exposition to drive the story. These one-liners, like random objects, especially the dagger. Oh my god, that dagger. Why did 3PO, why was 3PO not able to translate the Sith language? That just...
It was in his programming.
I mean, it makes sense, but it didn't make enough sense to extend the movie by 30 minutes, showing them how to hack it, Yeah. It was like, you could have used that 30 minutes for, like, good character building, but instead you, like, wiped C-3PO's memory, did all that stuff, and literally, as I said, like, earlier, they went on such a long mission to find that other crystal that conveniently only 2 crystals were made in the entire universe.
Yeah, why 2, right? Is it, like, a synonym for Sith, whatever?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
But it was like just 2, right? And then the one crystal they get, like it just gets destroyed by Kylo Ren, and then Rey ends up using the other one that Kylo Ren already had anyway. So it was like that whole arc of just like try to find this crystal, useless.
Hold on, it was in his TIE Interceptor, right?
Yeah.
The whole time.
Didn't his TIE Interceptor get blown up earlier?
He probably took it out.
It did.
He probably took it out and put it in another one.
Yeah, exactly the same though. Exactly the same TIE fighter though.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It could have been a different. Oh, anyway.
But like, yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, I think the reason why the first half of the movie was really stale was because everyone was together, but no one really made an impact because it was just Rey walking off somewhere and being, oh my god, I sensed something in the Force, and then Kylo like does the dimension thing and like somehow attacks her in wherever she is, and it felt super linear and they were jumping place to place, but nothing ever got really fleshed out place to place. And there were so many illogical things to happen, like Chewie getting abducted by the Knights of Ren, but was not that transport, and they also didn't check the ship that Chewie just walked out of.
Oh my god.
It was just so irrational.
Yeah.
Everything just felt very strange. And
I mean, and the plot, like there were so many points in the plot if they didn't discover that point, that there was a point that I think Tim just snickered at everything, and I was snickering with him.
Yeah.
Like, he was laughing the loudest when they pulled the thing out of the dagger, just like the semi-circle.
Oh, that was
so
funny.
Weird.
That was funny. That was really funny.
Awesome.
No idea what that does. He just holds it up. He's like, "Oh, it's over there." I'm like,
They're doing like a protractor. Or
Yeah,
something.
that was amazing coincidence. It's like oh my god, let's look at this dagger.
it has
Wait.
blood on it.
It like I can pull this thing for the first time ever in the entirety of the movie, and it's like, oh, it makes sense now.
Oh, it's for the destroyed Death Star in the water.
Yeah,
That's
it's like,
perfectly
how
destroyed.
convenient.
like they could have like used like 1 second for when they got the knife. They're like, oh, there's a thing here, and then just like don't even do it.
Yes, that's very true.
But it's like somehow she's like, oh, I'll just pull this thing.
That's what I'm saying. I
Surprisingly,
think
was
that
just there.
the plot events are so reactionary and linear. Like something happens, so we have to go to the enemy base and get him back. And then while they're getting him back, something else happens. We have to deal with this, and then everything just you're getting strung along without any sort of real closure from event to event. Right.
I have a YouTuber that I really like called Nerd Writer. He makes fantastic video essays on things like this. He was analyzing Rogue One and said the reason why the first half is really dull, and we can speak to that because Tim over here fell asleep for it.
Yeah.
And the second half
say
is
it every time.
Yeah, I do. It's really funny how it was exactly the first half, and as soon as the second half started, he was like, whoosh, edge of the seat, everything. Anyways, the reason why the first half was more dull than the second half is because the girl, I forget what her name is.
Jin.
Jin,
or something.
she was very passive in her role. Everything happening around her, she was reacting to, and like they were telling her what to do. But the second half, she was like, no, now we're gonna go do the plan. Now we're gonna like take charge and do it. So she gets on. They get into that planet. They do everything. She's sending the orders out, and it's more exciting because she's an active protagonist. Is what he calls it. I think it's a real term.
Yeah,
but,
I'm pretty sure that's what it's
but before that, she's passive. I think
interesting.
in the entirety of episode 9, they're all passive protagonists because Rey has the potential. There's so much potential for all of them to be incredibly active protagonists.
Yeah.
Just because they're like, oh yeah, this plan is to go destroy all the Star Destroyers. That's not being active because they realized the Emperor is doing this, and that's why they're doing it. That's why it's a passive protagonist. There's not a point in the story where they make a decision themselves. It was because the story had to move forward. Again, with the knife, with 3PO not being able to translate this, they had to go to the planet. All their actions were results of them discovering something, or I think Taimur, you said it the best, like someone on the side was like, hey, it's over there. And they're like, oh, we gotta go over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's be honest. There was one active protagonist in the entire film.
Kylo.
Ren.
The Force. Because the Force made them do everything.
That's true.
It made Finn do everything.
The Force is always active.
he was like, oh my god, I gotta go do this. I gotta go do this. I gotta go do this. Rey was like, I gotta go do this. I gotta do this. The Force, I feel it. I have to go here. I have to go here. So the Force is literally like, they're all just puppets on a string.
The greatest Deus Ex Machina.
But in the previous movies, the Force would give people the choice to do something that would show that their true colors were good or evil.
Yeah.
This one, I feel like the Force is like pulling the strings from what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Which is really disappointing.
I think, Tim, you said it, the best is in episode 5, is where it shows Luke's greatest weakness, and that he left his training.
Right.
Yeah.
And that really shows he's human, It's not like the Force is constantly saying, you gotta stay, train with Yoda, and do it. No, he knows it's a trap, but he cares more about his friends, so takes the trap to try and save his friend.
Right.
Like, none of that risky stuff happens. It's just that, we have to save the universe, and that's their only driving goal.
Right.
It's not even like, we need to figure out who Rey's parents are, which, when they... I mean, this is a spoiler talk anyways, but like, when the big reveal, which was supposed to be Rey Palpatine, happened, the entire audience should have been like... But I think half of us laughed.
Yeah.
That's like so big, but it was led up poorly, it was set up poorly, and when it happened, it was just like, really?
Yeah, there's just too much going on in the movie. They can't focus on enough important stuff.
Yeah.
Because everything's important, and when everything's important, nothing's important.
Dude.
That's a really good point. The entire conflict that binds the movie is we're all gonna die if we just let things happen. And everything kind of revolves around let's try to stop this one thing so we don't all die. It's not a tangible consequence like we talked about earlier, a tangible conflict for each subplot. It's always like this. If we don't do this, everything is done, right? And so everyone just kind of goes crazy.
I don't think they fully committed to that either, because why are they trying to show me Poe's background with this masked girl.
Yeah.
Spice trader.
Yeah,
Spice
trader.
girl. Spice girl.
And then
Spice
all of
girl.
a sudden she's like, oh, with this Imperial like badge, chip, whatever thingy, I can leave and get out of my situation. Well, good for you. And then you give it to him 2 minutes later?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That wasn't fleshed out enough.
Yeah.
It's
That
like-
relationship.
It's like, introduce it, make it do something.
Yeah, and that ended up becoming what drove the story more. And I'm like, you did that in like 2 minutes. Like
Yeah.
a minute.
For like half a second too, and even what it ended up doing was we get on the ship, and that's it. And
Yeah.
then it wasn't referenced.
And it was clearly super important to her
Yeah.
because she was gonna like literally start a new life, get out of this hellhole that she's in.
No, she was going to use it to leave the planet. And guess what? She left the planet anyway.
That's true.
I don't know how, but she did.
Yeah.
It was like, this is very important. She's been saving it up all of her life. Oh, never mind. She
Never
didn't
mind.
really need it, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to the guy who betrayed me years ago, and I was threatening to shoot on sight.
Yeah. And Poe didn't really need that backstory. I honestly, I assumed like Poe's like the best pilot in the entire rebellion, right?
I think
That was
that's
his
all
story.
That's all we need.
That's all. Yeah, and then like it's like, oh, he used to run Spice. I didn't need this backstory, but okay. And he's like, "Can I kiss you?" to the Spice Girl, and I'm like, I don't know. Well, what is this?
I think a lot of people try and defend this too, in the fact that there's a lot of these things that happen that they again have a one-liner for before, because Finn wasn't telling Poe something, but he only wanted to tell Rey, and Poe was like, "Why aren't you telling me everything?" Finn's like, "Yeah, why don't you tell me all about your shady business?" That was like 20 minutes into the movie, and then 20 minutes later, they're like, "Oh look, he has a shady business. Oh, foreshadowing." Hey, I'm like,
I didn't get it at all.
Yeah, but there was like a little like it was peppered. Haha, Spice.
Oh. Huh.
It was peppered throughout the movie. It was like introduce this one thing, resolve it a little bit later. Like introduce like, oh, Poe had a shady backstory. Oh, he was running Spice.
Right.
Oh,
There's no payoff.
yeah, there's no payoff. Oh, Finn had something to tell Rey. Never tell him.
Oh, that was horrible.
Completely
no
disregarded
payoff there.
For the entire movie.
Tim looked that up to see what Finn wanted to tell Rey.
I mean, you know, it's a bad thing. I searched up on Google. I said, "Why did Finn?" And then it auto-populated with, "Why did Finn?" Oh, it's not Finn.
So what did Finn need to
Yeah,
tell?
what did Finn? And it says the first thing is, what did Finn have to tell Rey? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And like they totally made it in some way that Finn wanted to tell like some deep dark like feelings for her or something
I
like
thought
that.
it was love or something.
I thought it was love, like
Yeah.
straight up, just like let's just not do it when Poe's around. Why would Poe even make a difference if Finn? The reason why what he wanted to say, confirmed by the director, was that he's force sensitive. Why can't he just tell Poe that?
Yeah. What difference would it make if you told Poe?
Because Poe's a spice trader, bro. You can't trust him.
It's too spicy.
What's he gonna do? Poe knows two force sensitive people, Leia and Rey, and Finn is not gonna tell Poe that he's force sensitive.
Dude, Poe's gonna be jealous. He's gonna be like, "Come on, everyone's getting the force. Why can't I get the force?"
Clearly, his midichlorians are way too low.
Yeah. Also, I don't understand how Finn is force sensitive. You know?
Dude, I feel like some people who really want to defend that are gonna say like episodes 7 or 8, they're foreshadowing it because he was holding the lightsaber.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering if everyone who somehow departed from the Empire somehow all of them had some sort of feeling. I'm wondering if they're hinting at that's them.
That's
All of them are force sensitive people who had
interesting.
this kind of awakening.
Didn't they? I forget in which episode. Maybe 7 or 8. Didn't they hint that they were harvesting when they harvested younglings? I don't remember where it's from. I remember that they harvested younglings who had some level of force sensitivity in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This was from a movie.
I don't remember where I heard this from, but I do remember that they actually targeted younglings who were force sensitive in something, and depending on your level of force sensitivity, it was where you were put in the first. So if you're like basic, like almost nothing, you were like a stormtrooper. But if you were better, you would be like the Red Guards or some higher guards, right?
Huh.
And then the Knights of Ren were literal Jedi in training. So
But that just brings up another fact about the movie that we talked about briefly. But in episode 7, Finn uses the lightsaber,
yeah,
which in my mind, I thought that lightsabers were just tools of the Jedi, right? Like they could only be used by Jedi, but it showed that, anyone could use it because Finn wasn't force sensitive or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then at the end of episode 8, they were hinting at like there are more Jedi because the little boy was using the Force to like sweep the thing, and so it's like, and they talked about Rey, like you come from no one or something like that, and they totally retcon all that because it's like Well, actually, Finn is important. He is force sensitive, so he could use a lightsaber. Oh, Rey, she's actually a Palpatine, so that's really, really big.
Yeah.
And you have to be important to be able to use the force. That's what they just said.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
the exact opposite of what they said in 8.
yeah, because like I like that fact about 8 was like there are force sensitive people out there, but they could be completely unrelated and like they don't have to be important to any story. They're just, you know, gifted in a way. You know, like they're not used to progress the story. But now it's like every single force sensitive person in 9 was like they were important to the story.
Yeah.
And it's like okay, well.
I don't know. Maybe Ryan's goal was to like say, hey, we're done with the Skywalker saga. Let's end it now and bring balance by killing everyone. But J.J. Abrams was like, no, we must go back to the roots.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like the message that it taught kids. You know, like you don't have to be important.
Right.
It's okay to be an NPC.
It's not something innate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Episode 8 does that good. Honestly, episode 8's bad rep comes from that stupid casino crap.
Well, it was a waste of time. Let's be honest.
It was a waste of time.
And Rose, don't shit on the actor. She's got a lot of hate as it is, but Rose's character sucked. That dumb romance, the whole premise.
I think just like Luke doing something like that. I think it wasn't true to Star Wars lore and the heart of it, but in terms of a story, I think it was a better story than 9.
Yeah, because it humanized everyone. Like it goes. It's the same types of decisions that like Luke was struggling with. You're like, oh, he had a hard decision to make. Same with like the episode 5 we were talking about. Like 7 and 9, it's just the fantasy. It's cool to see all this stuff, but that's it. Like, it's the world.
Yeah, I think that's why episode 7 and 9 were more liked by audiences than 8 it was just fantasy. Like you could just disconnect and not care and it would still be like amazing fantastical movie.
Yeah.
But if you actually like plugged in like your electrical socket and tried to care about all these characters and storylines and it's like it just falls apart.
Yeah.
That's true. I think my beef with a lot of it is that the movie would have still been the same if you took out characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could argue that they did certain actions that were necessary for like action scenes, but in terms of emotional weight and like the emotional storytelling, like what's her name? Rose was useless. Like in a lot of ways, Finn is pretty useless because he's just going around screaming like Ray, and then Chewie. Yeah, every time something happens to someone, Chewie's useless. Like besides that one plot point, Lando's somewhat useless. Like a lot of people don't. Like, the story doesn't change without them being there. They're not, like you said, it's because they're not active characters, right? And that's why, like, I forget, like, who was in the ship when X thing happened, right? Like, you don't remember because not all of them had distinct roles and things that they were doing.
Yeah, you can think back to every single other episodes from 1 through 6. And if I tell you a point like, oh, who was, Darth Maul versus who? Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, that's pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And then who was in pod racing? Anakin. And who was on the ship when they first landed on Anakin Tatooine. You could probably name almost all of them because most of them were pretty important. And what's another good one? Anyways, point being, if you name scenes, you'll be able to tell what characters were there.
Yeah.
Oh, but if you told me in episode 9 like who was on why, like I already forgot like at the beginning of the movie, like why were they even on this trip to get this information? What was the purpose of it? Then I had to be reminded by Timur Antin that they were getting a message that Palpatine had sent out that they somehow missed. Oh.
And you know what? In this entire conversation, you just reminded me that General Hux was a spy. Totally forgot that.
Oh my god.
Well, he died.
Yeah, he died.
2 seconds flat.
He died so quickly.
And his reason to do all that was like, Kylo Ren has to lose.
But
right.
But like, why? You know, like what does he gain from it? Does he gain like something?
Well,
I don't know.
we could argue that his spyness was only to show the real villainy of the general who took over. But that wasn't even done super well.
Yeah.
I don't even know his name. Do you know his name?
Nope.
What was the name of the other general?
Nope.
No, I have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
But at least with General Hux, like, he could have... The reason why he sucked was because it was so obvious that in 7 and 8 that they were trying to make him, like, jealous of Kylo and everything. It was literally stuffed in your face because the only time he had any kind of character development was when they did like a brief shot of him just like making a face at Kylo or being smashed by Kylo. Like that's it. That's the only thing that happens. And then like he's like, I want Kylo to lose. I'm like, yeah, but what else have you done? Like, yeah, you're the spy, but it's kind of with the same with like Game of Thrones. They literally just do small.
Game of Thrones spoilers too.
No, I'm not saying any spoilers.
Okay.
I'm just like, for those of you who have watched Game of Thrones and have known that season 8 wrapped horribly, it's like they do things so freaking obvious to you that's kind of, and they expect you to infer that because the sky is blue that it means you're depressed or something like that. Like some blatant symbolism / foreshadowing that you're like, I guess that's what's gonna happen. And yeah, that happens. And you're like, oh, he was the spy. It's basically what I'm trying to say. It was very shallow.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it was okay. I feel like the more you analyze it, the more there is to dislike. But if you just watch it passively and don't care about anything, and just like, ooh, ha, light swords, it was not bad.
Yeah, it's like a movie you watch at home that's on TV, and when the action scenes are on, you look at the TV.
Yeah.
It's one of those kinds of movies, like an ABC Family or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those action movies in ABC Family.
ABC Family.
Yeah, you know.
I think if Endgame didn't come out, I would actually rate this movie a lot higher because it's so hard to connect one movie to multiple. Like trying to connect that one movie to 8 other movies is a feat in itself. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But Endgame did 20. Endgame and Infinity War did 20.
Yeah, but you can also argue that Endgame had 20 to grasp from. You know, like they had 20 movies to build these characters.
I mean,
that you care about them.
Each character had a movie to build its own character
multiple
from.
too.
Yeah.
And then like this one just had 3 where they had Rey, Finn, Poe, all these characters that like add to the story, but they are not like solo characters. They are part of that cast.
Still, at the end of the day, if you like look at it from like a standalone movie, if Endgame could still be hailed both critically and by the audience as like fantastic movies, why couldn't this movie do it? So,
I mean,
like, yes, there's issues and things like that back and forth, but all I'm trying to say is because Endgame exists, I'm like, you could have done better, and my rating just goes down because of it. Because a lot of people do say, like, even when Game of Thrones season 8 came out, people were like, it's so hard to wrap up 8 seasons of a show. It's so tough. You gotta give them credit. You gotta give them some slack. I'm like, yeah, but the Russo brothers did it. Like, you cannot use that as an excuse.
but to be fair, they didn't wrap up the Avengers. They wrapped up specific character stories.
Yeah.
They didn't wrap up everyone.
True.
Whereas Game of Thrones set out to wrap up everyone's story, even though it was 99% unfinished.
In 6 episodes, when they clearly needed more time.
Anyways, oh my god.
We can get on that later.
Yeah, that one's... Game of Thrones is the worst. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
if we had to give... what's the movie called? Rise of Skywalker.
Just reading the title.
It's bad. Rise of Skywalker rating. What would you guys say?
6 out of 10, and it's saved by its beautiful visuals.
Yeah.
Honestly beautiful.
6 out of 10.
I'll be different and say 5.
Oh,
because it wasn't an entertaining movie. It was entertaining solely because of how bad it was.
There's a point where... Actually, no. There's no point. I would give it a 5, but I like that fantasy universe, the sci-fi fantasy so much that because it was visually stunning and I'm just a sucker for that stuff, I gave it like a +1.
Yeah. To the VFX artists, 10 out of 10.
Oh, seriously.
10 out of 10.
Great job.
Yeah, beautiful
Get
job.
Christmas bonuses. You all deserve it.
For sure.
They're not gonna get it though.
Yeah, they're probably contracted. But they're probably contracted. But yeah, a strong 5 showing from Rise of Skywalker.
What would you... I guess for anyone listening, I guess it would give them a comparison to go off. What would you give 8?
8?
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard to say because I like it more after I watched 9.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Let me. Well, after I watched 8, I would have said 5.
Okay.
Like in the theaters, I would have said 5. But after seeing the story that it told, I'll give it a good 6.5.
Okay. What about you?
I would give it a solid 6.2.
Okay, I kind of feel the same way, but after the Last Jedi, I would give like when I came out of the theaters, I would have given it a 6, but now after watching 9, I'm like, all right, that's a 7. That's probably
I would have given 8 like a 4 after theaters because I was like, like this is, what are they doing now?
Yeah.
But after 9, I'll bump it up to a 6.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say like that movie by itself is better than 9. It definitely did a lot of things right and a lot of things wrong.
Yeah.
Same with 9, so I feel like I'm gonna rate them both 6. Like boom,
okay,
equals.
and then 7.
6.57. But something that I heard once that I think makes a good point is that the second movie of a trilogy always has the toughest job because you have to work with all the lore and all the characters that the first movie made, but you can't end with complete finality.
Yeah,
because you have to still create some sort of interest while completing a conflict in and of itself.
Yeah.
And so the second movie always has the toughest job. Yeah. And so, upon reflection, I think Last Jedi is even better because, again, like the lore and the heart of Star Wars might have been lost in a lot of places, but the actual story that was told, I think, wasn't a bad story.
Yeah. So 7 is 6.5, 7 for you?
7 was, 6.5, 7.
What about you?
7, I just didn't like it because there was so much fan service. Like, it was just like too much fan service, too much of the same thing of 4 that I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was a waste of my time to be sitting in the theaters and watching Star Wars Episode 7. Even though it was like, oh my god, Star Wars is back. It's not really back. It's just the same story with different characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would give it a 5.
I gave it an 8 because it's a good intro to a trilogy that ended up being trash anyways, but it was a it was like if you were gonna do any of that fan servicing, it would be this one because this is like what 13 some years after the episode 3 came out.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what? You can tease me a bit with all that fan service. You can like feed me a bit of that good stuff.
Yeah.
And he did it. JJ does that well. But
it was a similar struggle in that he had to rope in neckbeard, like, heavily breathing Star Wars fans and a new generation of people who are gonna like Star Wars. So I think he had a really tough task on his hands for that first movie.
Yeah.
And I think they did more with the cinematography techniques in terms of like building the world. Like the things about like that Star Destroyer and stuff like that in the desert. There are a lot of things where I thought like, wow, they did a really good job showing like how much time has passed since the last movie while kind of keeping the grand scale. So I think it still did a good job. I think 9 was just really sad. It didn't have any of those like moments, I feel, or they were passed on too quickly because there wasn't enough time and space to flesh out each moment.
Yeah, definitely not enough time.
That shouldn't have been the focus anyways too. Like, but still.
And it's a problem when you have 2.5 hours and still not enough time to tell a good story.
So you gotta make it a TV show instead. Just take all the time in the world.
Anyways, the trilogy's done, so. But
just wait till episode 10, 11, and 12, baby.
Yeah, who's gonna direct those?
I don't know. I'd be okay if Ryan directed all of them. Because then at least you would have like a story in mind for all 3 of them.
Yeah, they did say that the writers of Game of Thrones were going to have a new trilogy of Star Wars to work with. That they were gonna they had the rights. Them. Yeah, but they canned them. But they were in the talks of doing a new trilogy.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they're still gonna make a new trilogy.
Yeah, you gotta get that Star Wars money.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like. I don't want them to make episode 10. Like if they're making a Star Wars trilogy, make it about something completely different.
It wouldn't be an episode 10 then. You're right. It would be a different Star Wars movie entirely.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I like Ryan to do it because he knew this is a new generation. We gotta do something new that defines this trilogy. And that's why like The Last Jedi is so hated sometimes because it's honestly like you said it too. Like they kind of said screw the lore. We're just gonna write this, and Casino Scene still sucks. But at least he was trying to get at something different.
Yeah. We'll just get Jon Favreau to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
Dude, he did The Mandalorian, did Lion King, does all these crazy different projects. He's like
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I'll just get like the Russo brothers. But I don't know how they would take Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. Just get someone who wants to do it and can do it well. Approved.
That's
Yeah.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
We'll see
It's
how
really hard
much
to find.
creative license
I will
Disney
do
gives
it.
them.
I will do. I'll happily do it for Disney.
Oh,
And I'll make the
My axe.
I'll make the choices have consequences.
Thanks,
You
dude.
sound like a freaking maniac.
That's what Disney executives don't want.
Yeah, I know.
True.
Well,
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both for joining me on this podcast.
this rant.
In the future, feel free to, reach out. We can always catch up again, do another podcast too. We could all watch a movie again. Because we're all in different locations. We could always do it over Discord and stuff like that. But that would be very fun. I love talking to you guys.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thanks for everyone who watched the episode. Again, these episodes are available on my YouTube channel, also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So you can download it and listen to the road if you want to. Also YouTube.
Do you use Anchor?
What Anchor?
Apparently they do all of that stuff for you. They upload to all the podcast places for you.
No, I use a different site.
Never mind.
And then
Thanks
they
all
just do-
for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Tamar, for having us over.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out. And then for those of you listening to the podcast, I put out a video of the best of Taiz for the decade with all my videos this past Sunday. And then the next Sunday is going to be a video of VR gameplay. So stay tuned for that. Because these come out on Wednesday. Every other Wednesday. Bi-weekly Wednesday. So if you liked it, stay tuned.
All right.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.